when I met this homeless
Yes,
person on the street, I was like, I am going to help this homeless person with maybe.
With maybe.
With maybe, but I was certain with maybe.
Okay.
And so the first time I met him, I was like, you know, it's really nice to meet you. His name was Robert.
And he was just on your street?
He was just on the street. He used to beg on 8th Street.
Okay.
So when I used to drive in my car, I used to give him $1. And when I used to, on the street, I used to speak to him. That was kind of our deal. So I said, Robert, how can I help you? I'd like to do something for you. He says, I'm an artist. I said, oh, I said, let me buy your art. He says, okay. He goes, meet me here next week, Monday at 2 o'clock. And the surprising thing is, he would meet me Monday at 2 o'clock without his art. And he would say, oh, I said, well, where's your art? Oh, the police, they took my art, it rained, the paintbrushes, you know, every excuse under the book. But every Monday he would meet me at 2 o'clock. And this went on for a few months. And after a while, I'm a maybe person, so I kept thinking, maybe he'd bring the art, maybe he'd bring the art. So after 2 months, I was like, Robert, I was like, not sure you're going to bring your art. What did you used to do for a living? He told me he was in construction management, and he offered me his resume. He said, I'll bring you my resume. I said, okay, let's meet. Let's meet next week. Sure enough, we met the week. He didn't have his resume. This went on for another 2 months. So after a while, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not really sure why he's meeting me, but nothing really was coming out of it. And so then I called my friend, who is a homeless advocate, and she was basically telling me that, you know, other people were probably trying to help him get off the street, and he was making his choices. And so after a while, I realized that maybe Robert was never going to bring his resume, he wasn't going to bring his artwork.
Maybe he wasn't.
Maybe he wasn't. So I was driving another day in Manhattan, and I saw him on a different street, on like 11th Street. And I stopped the car, and I gave him $1. And Robert said to me, oh, he goes, I was just walking to get a cup of coffee thinking maybe somebody would give me $1. And I thought to myself, that was it. That's what Robert wanted. Robert always wanted $1 from me. And I thought that I had failed in the realm of maybe. I thought that I was so in this expansive maybe mode, but at the same time, I was trying to tell Robert what he wanted, what his maybe should be. That he should want me to buy his art, that he should want to become a construction manager. And so I thought that I had misunderstood the realm of maybe on some level.
Wait, he never did want to show you his art then?
He just wanted, as far as I knew at that moment, he said to me, I was walking to get a cup of coffee, and I thought maybe someone would give me $1. So for me, I just stopped, and I was like, wow, that was maybe, that was it? And a few months later, I ran into him on the street, and he had pneumonia. And he just got out of the hospital. And I said, Robert, I said, it's so good to see you. He says, you know something, Allison? He goes, it's so good to see you. He says, people spit on me all day. He goes, it's people like you and the doctors that make me feel like maybe my life could be different. And I looked at him, and I was like, you know, Robert, it's people like you that make me think maybe my life could be different too. So what was really happening between us is we were always in maybe. My kindness, my caring gave him hope that maybe life could change. And you know what he did? For the first time, he applied for housing for him and his girlfriend because he had this hope that maybe life could be different. And the sad thing is, and you know, and then maybe I guess there are no endings, is that he ended up passing away 2 weeks before he got housing. But he did create a maybe because his girlfriend now is not on the street. She doesn't sleep on the street anymore. So it's interesting how there was always this opening going on, but because it was funny, I was trying to...
You were fixed on how you wanted to help him.
Right.
And he wasn't as fixed. He said, oh, I get it.
So I was trying to create maybe in a really fixed way, and I had no idea all along we were expanding together. We were in this open place, and it wasn't until he said to me, you give me hope that maybe my life could be different, only because I used to stop and talk to him. I used to stop and only because I wanted his artwork. He didn't need me to buy his artwork, but he needed somebody to care about him, to make him believe that life could be different. So it was really just an act of love, an act of kindness that created maybe. So maybe it's very expansive.